First of all, thank you very much for having me. I'm extremely grateful for this opportunity to be here. The TED platform is undoubtedly a very, very powerful place for the dissemination and the discussion of new ideas and also the evolution of hope. My talk is centered around the idea of staying true to your roots, because I believe that roots are the route to fly. This might sound like a very broad and generic statement, but that's not the case. Roots is your core, what makes you as a person, your beliefs, values, interests, hobbies, and a lot more. By being aware of your core and slipping into it from time to time, you can propel ahead. Let me tell you a bit about how I follow my passions by staying true to my roots through some of my personal and professional experiences over the years. At my core, I'm an introvert, Kashmiri Pandit, a sportsperson and an athlete, and a movie buff. To be honest, I hope I'm more than just this, but let's start off with these. My true journey outside of my comfort zone began sometime around the 10th grade, a similar time to where many of you currently find yourselves. I was probably a quintessential example of an introvert, building a world inside of my head and living inside it, allowing only close friends and family to enter. Forget public speaking, public interactions with strangers wouldn't ask any insights. Deep down, however, I knew that this trait of mine is detrimental in the long run, particularly to me, as ironically I wanted to enter public life in some capacity in the future, because I knew that to be able to make any change, having a voice is extremely important. In school, I was a track and field athlete and a golfer. So of course my three main idols were Usain Bolt, Tiger Woods and Milkha Singh. I would jump on any chance to be able to meet them, and one such opportunity did come about where I would be able to meet the flying second. A sports for development run was being organized in New Delhi, with the chief guest being none other than Milkha Singh in the flesh. The moment I got wind of this, I signed up. During that event, I learned about the Paralympic Committee of India, the Paralympic movement, and there's something even known as the Paralympics in our world today. I was completely shell-shocked, disappointed, disheartened, and confused as to how I, an educated sports person myself, had no idea that such a concept of sport even existed in our world today. I subsequently went on to the Paralympic Committee of India headquarters in New Delhi, volunteered in any capacity that I could, and thus began my Paralympic journey. After I got more rooted with the PCI, I had one particular meeting where I wanted to share an idea that I had been working on for quite some time with their leadership. I knew that I had to fly to Bangalore and give a presentation, but that's about all the information that I had. Worried sick, I kept asking my dad, how many people do I have to present this to? I hope it's just 2 or 3. Any more, and I don't think I'll be able to give that presentation. He reassured me that it's not going to be more than 3, and to go ahead and not worry. But the moment I entered the Paralympic Committee of India headquarters in Bangalore, I started seeing massive signs saying annual general meeting, and then entered a hall full of representatives of the PCI chapters of India from across the country. And mind you, I'm still an introvert at this point. Later on, I found out that my dad knew about this all along, but was cleverly, he did not mention any of it to me. But I'm glad that my dad didn't tell me before, because it was that moment that threw me off my comfort cliff and made me give that presentation. It was that moment that brought me a step closer towards getting over my introvertedness. It was that moment that taught me that to be able to grow, I need to step out of my comfort zone, at least from time to time. Full disclosure, I'm still not over that entire process, but I am a step closer towards controlling it more. And now it's been over 8 years with the Paralympic Committee of India, and I couldn't be more thankful and grateful for all the opportunities, learnings, education, relationships, interactions that I've been able to develop and undertake in that time. Now let's enter into another chapter, Kashmir. It was much later in life that I found out that what it truly meant to be a Kashmiri Pandit as an identity. After going to Kashmir for holidays for the first time, the topic of being Kashmiri even came up. And when I started growing up, started entering the 10th grade, getting more serious about post-school life, getting more aware about the world around me, I wanted to learn more about Kashmir as well. Over the years, after extensive traveling across the region in Kashmir, I wanted to learn more on the ground. I stayed there for multiple months at a stretch to be able to absorb everything that I could about that part of our region. Once I was at Pomona College in the United States, in any course that I could select, at any opportunity, I would try and incorporate Kashmir by working on a topic that's related to Kashmir, any project, paper, or assignment. From a political party course to my final year thesis, I worked on Kashmir, just to get a better understanding about the region, at least academically. But that academic understanding still did not seem sufficient to me, because I was still in my comfort zone. Because I was in my dorm room writing my paper, not really exploring anything further. And that moment in the annual general meeting in Bangalore taught me that until I fall off my comfort cliff, I won't be able to grow and I will always remain an impediment to myself. So immediately after my graduation in 2021, I decided to jump off another comfort cliff and shift my base to Kashmir from New Delhi. And there I started my own applied research institute called KYARI, Kashmir's Yumberzal Applied Research Institute, and we basically focus on development research on a host of topics in Jammu and Kashmir, and identify a problem and then provide multiple solutions to those problems. But our main goal is to primarily focus on the positive aspects of Kashmir, because over these years, overwhelming negativity has surrounded Kashmir. We have been able to undertake multiple events, we have produced multiple research papers, and are in the process of much more. Living in Kashmir for over 1.5 years now, I've been able to appreciate the things that I would normally take for granted. But the most important learnings that I've had have been the gifts of patience and perspective. My research takes me to some of the most remote parts of the region and the country, and that is a humbling experience, to say the least. It makes someone like me, who is relatively privileged, appreciate that privilege more and to use it to help those who are less fortunate. Now, if you remember, I said that I like movies a lot. And Kashmir is a naturally beautiful place, there's no doubt about it. I would definitely urge all of you to visit at some point in time if you haven't already. And that natural beauty attracts film crews as well. And we at KYARI were fortunate enough to partner with one of India's leading production houses. And we assisted them not only in the completion of their shoot, but also to bring them to Kashmir in the first place. They were planning on treating Kashmir as another destination, like Manali, for example. And that entire exercise benefits the locals immensely, because they need to cater to the logistical needs of managing a 300-strong crew that also satisfies the requirements of the film crew by giving them the perfect shots. And it also, in the long run, creates awareness about Jammu and Kashmir, its accessibility to the rest of the country, and if not the world. I would have never thought that being an introverted sports person would teach me that stepping outside of your comfort zone is key in life, which will then get me involved with the Paralympic community and also allow me to gain courage to be able to embrace my Kashmiri heritage and then relocate from where I've been living for the past 21 years of my life to a completely new place far from home. And there I would be able to realize my passion for conducting research and implementing what I have learned at my college in the United States to produce applied research papers, to then also be able to work on my passion and hobby of watching films from the back end instead of only watching it on the screen, and then to be present here today in front of you all as a speaker at the prestigious TEDxYouth. This is the transformative power of stepping outside of your comfort zone and exploring the unknown by falling back to your core in times of doubt, uncertainty, and confusion. That said, however, falling back to your roots and your core can be a very challenging journey. And I learned this the hard way during one of my research trips up in the Himalayas. Being a Kashmiri, I thought that walking up in the mountains should come naturally. I was, of course, wearing trekking shoes, but despite that, I found myself slipping on that steep terrain naturally. And despite that, despite all of my confidence while I was trying to stumble my way up the mountain, I slipped straight into fragrant and colorfully brown slushy mud. And the worst part of this entire exercise was not the dirt, was not the embarrassment of just falling, but I couldn't even blame my shoes for slipping because the Pahadis who came to help me, they ran in chappals and sandals. So, staying close to your roots requires hard work and determination, despite the fact that many times the outcome will not align with your expectations. But jokes apart, I personally believe that experience and exposure can't be beat. That is the most important thing that one should strive to achieve in any activity or undertaking that somebody is doing. And I can say that by staying close to my roots, I have been able to gain invaluable amounts of both, which has significantly changed my outlook towards life and has been my route to try and touch the sky in whatever I do, be it my involvement with the Paralympic Committee of India or my research based on Kashmir. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.